Welcome to another exciting session here, hosted by Ajira Digital Program and KEPSA. We'll be having this session just to share more about digitization and empowering our SMEs in terms of their ability to use business intelligence in their businesses and improve their decision making. Our guest speakers come from an organization called Ajira Business and Technology Consulting, which is based in the United States of America. One of our guests is Dudon Mai. Dudon Mai is a principal data engineer and a Microsoft alumni. He's an expert in data warehousing, data modeling, report and dashboard authoring, and authoring data pipelines. He holds a master's degree in computer engineering and currently pursuing a doctorate degree in information technology. His experiences range from retail, oil and gas, software, education, energy, and veterinary care. Our second guest today who will also be sharing on this platform is Mary Mushina. Mary is a program manager at Microsoft in Seattle. She's an expert in data modeling, report and dashboard authoring, business intelligence, organizational, digital upskilling strategy development, and digital transformation. Mary holds a master's degree in business administration in strategic innovation and is a certified business analyst. She also has quite a wealth of experience in retail, oil and gas, software, information technology, education, energy, veterinary care, telecommunications, and manufacturing. And at this time, I want to welcome Mai, our first speaker, who will share with us about business intelligence, and she'll also be joined by a colleague on Affiliate Business and Technology Consulting, Mary Mushina.
Yes, thank you, James. Thank you, everyone. My colleague Mary is going to talk about, give the preliminary, then I'll follow up with key points. So, all right, Mary, please take it from here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary once again. Just to introduce myself, born and raised in Kenya, living and working in the United States, and I work for Microsoft. Yes. So in today's discussion, we've tried to bucketize everything into four pillars, right? And the first one is where we introduce business intelligence and looking at holistically, what is business intelligence? So when I moved to the US, I didn't know what BI was, and Mai was the one who wooed me into the field. And excitingly, I've been there since. Yeah, so on our key topics for under introducing business intelligence to SME, we're gonna look at three key questions. One is demystifying what is BI, and what BI is not, right? And also looking at the benefits of BI into our businesses, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises, given the fact that my major focus in my career, I've been working for a multinational organization like Microsoft. How does that correlate? The other thing we're going to look at in that bucket is common use cases of BI in small businesses as well. It translates that into multinational organization. Data is quite complex, and we're going to demystify that as we continue. So the next bucket we're going to talk about is data culture and democratization of data. And what this means is as business leaders, when we think about our businesses and how we set our business strategy, more often than not, we forget about embedding data as part of our business strategy. So we're going to show you how by embedding data into our day-to-day business strategy will help us build more data-driven organization. So the other component, we are looking at democratizing data. That's a buzzword. It's an industry word, but what it means pretty much is making data available to everyday person. You as a CEO of your company, does your layman or somebody who is doing your driving, do they have access to data? Somebody who is doing your customer service, do they have access to data around marketing? So what we are trying to do, and this is a problem that has really plagued big organization, and one of the scenarios that I'm dealing with at the moment, actually, it's trying to break accessibility of data. You find that as organization graduate from small to medium to large and to public publicly traded organization. On the point of democratizing data, it's where we are trying to break organizational silos. And as we do that, we are breaking data silos. More often than not, and I've seen this, it's quite a problem, especially for big organizations, and as well as small organizations as they graduate to becoming more big organization. We tend to form business units, and more often than not, these business units operate like independent entities, whereas they should be working cohesively as one entity. So you as a business leader, you need to find mechanism and frameworks within your organization on making sure that they are not gatekeepers of data, making sure everybody has access to data. That changes everybody's mindset. On the other bucket, let me work. I'm looking at my monitor here. So the other bucket that we're gonna talk about is modernizing business environment through digital transformation. This is my bread and butter. And what this means is that digital transformation is quite a broad catchphrase within the industry. And what this means is that we are trying in small incremental step, trying to adopt more innovative ways of doing business. And this one opens a whole realm of possibilities. We are able to tap into new business opportunities. We are able also to leverage modern technology to help us tap into and unlock opportunities that we never thought it was possible. So when we think of digital transformation, this digital transformation is a journey that unfolds over time. It's not a one-off corporate overhaul. Think of it, I have seen most of you are using Power BI, most of you are using ERP and CRM. That step is a step towards digitally transforming your business. And by doing that, and how do you do that to digitally transform your business? You as a business leader or as a functional leader, you need to do something, and it's a buzzword, and we use it quite a lot in the tech world, digital capability assessment. It's looking at your business and how do you compare with your peers in terms of digital maturity, and how can I compete? These are the questions that business leaders need to keep on asking themselves as they continue doing their businesses and engaging with external world. What are the industry trends? What are other businesses doing locally and as well as internationally? And that's bring us to the fourth and most critical piece where Mai is gonna dive deep and shed and demystify everything around adoption of BI solution and tools. There are quite a number, and there are plethora of solution out there, BI solution. And Mai and I are gonna dive deep into this. That really inexpensive. As a small and medium-sized enterprise, I'm looking at, for me as a business owner, I'm looking at it from a budget point of view. How much budget am I willing to invest in a technology, and how much return on investment am I going to get from that? More often, they are off-the-shelf platforms that you pay a fraction of the cost, but you become a little bit more data savvy by just leveraging some of these off-the-shelf platform. So without much ado, I worked really fast, and I have a reason for that, because we have a lot of things to cover, and I'll be taking all sorts of questions and collating that as well. And Mai and I, at the apex of this presentation, we're gonna look at those questions. And if you have and you can also connect with us on LinkedIn, by the way, and if you have any other question that we can help you with, we will be happy to help you with that. So without much ado, let me reintroduce Mai again. Mai, take the wheel. I'll join you again. Thank you, everyone.
So as Mary said, a number of you have already indicated that you've heard about business intelligence. So I'm not going to revisit all you already know. But for us here is to set the foundation. I will talk to you in terms of the business value proposition of what we call business intelligence. So the phrase, and what I leave you tonight is transforming your data into actionable insights. I'm going to repeat that. Transforming your data that you already have, or you can tap into actionable insights to do what? To drive your business forward, meaning in terms of augmenting your revenues, in terms of providing customer satisfaction, in terms of so that they can buy your products and services, instead of making your product the better, most competitive in the market, or your service. So those are the three pillars. You have your product or your service, you have your processes, and you have your customers. So business intelligence can help you, increase your revenues by reducing cost, etc., in that direction. That is the foundation. That is, I will assure you, that is the beginning of this journey. That's the beginning of this journey. So you have pillars of business intelligence and data mining. Basically, you mine and transform your data, etc., to make sense of your data. And you have data analytics, which basically, takes that data, basically matches it up, and then to provide the gems. And then you have data visualization. Data visualization just to show you basically in slice and dice, and look at your data in different dimensions to make sense. Again, where data is the oil of the 21st century is this. It allows you to derive the insights. As business owners, you could see the trending in your data and then make a decision based on that. So a question I would like to ask each one of you. You have data. Everyone has data. I can tell you, I can write data on a piece of paper like this, okay? This note, I have data. I can write on my little scrapbook, that is data. The world is full of data, but the world does not, on average, smartly use the data to transform the businesses. That is where this is coming to play. So you have, lots of tools, you have engineering, you have analysis tools, you have reporting, and so forth. Now, common use of business intelligence. We talked about it, some of this in the survey. You can look at your sales data. A number of you said that you look at your sales data, you look at marketing, you look at customer relation, data, customer satisfaction, some of it used in operations and so forth, in healthcare. So there are many, many use cases depending on the industry. So business intelligence applies, or analytics, it applies to various industries, depending on the use cases. But for people who are here today, I'm going to give an example which is really, really down to earth. Forgive my geography of Kenya. Actually, I did a thesis on Kenya back in the days. So suppose, let me give you just an image here. A small farmer, for example, in Nakuru, probably growing corn, growing tomatoes here. They know what they're producing. They know that we produce this amount, we sell 100,000 shillings, a year. That's it. They'll repeat that process. They've been doing it forever. They have the revenue. Sometimes the weather is bad. They lose half of it or don't even have anything. And they repeat the process. So they are afloat. But now this farmer in Nakuru is not aware necessarily that there is a need in Kisumu, for example. They don't know that through business intelligence, they can see that there is a need in Kisumu. So they can supply more of their produce to Kisumu and make more money. This is a use case. This farmer may not know that at certain times in a year, depending on the market, there is more demand or a surplus. So they can tailor their production, to meet those peaks so that they can make more money. Not produce a lot when there is a glut, okay? Everybody loses because there's so much of the produce in the market. So that is an example, for example, for a small farmer. They will know, oh, we have more consumption of my produce in that area, so I should target that market, okay, that local market somewhere in a different province, albeit, transportation. Take, for example, a store owner who has a store in Mombasa, has another store in the capital, right? They have stores all over the place. So in a dashboard, they can see a 360 degrees of the production of their stores. They can see the sales, they can see the cost, they can see, etc., the ROI. They can look at how many employees, look at trending, period after period, like a quarter, month, year, or 6 months, so that they can see how much they have been doing, period to period, and adjust, their production. If they see that, well, we hired this many employees, etc., or the risk is high in this year, what they see in the business intelligence, they will have to make that strategic decision to address that particular area. So that is a question I leave to you. About 84% of you said that you use data. But the question I leave to you individually, do you use that data and transform it into gems, meaning insights, that allow you to make strategic decisions to augment your business, augment the profitability of your business or your organization? If you are an organization which is it's like a non-profit or something like that, which does not have profit, can you at least improve your processes and reduce the cost? That is another game. So this is then what business intelligence can do for you, small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses. So again, how do you analyze the data? How do you collect your data? Do you even collect your data? Those are the questions that, you ask yourself. I have my Excel spreadsheets. They live everywhere. Some of them live under the desk of one of my employees. Some of these in our heads, you know what I'm saying? Like the body says, tribal knowledge. Is it in tribal knowledge? It doesn't live in pieces of paper. Is it a centralized place where everybody in your organization can go and get that data? So, and how do you analyze it? Do you have tools, business intelligence tools? A number of you said that you use Excel. Few did said that you use Power BI. Do you have this business intelligence tools? What is your repository? Are you using a database, for example, to store your data securely so that everybody can share it? Do you share your data with partners within Kenya, across the region, and worldwide? Business intelligence tools can allow you to share that reporting, all over the globe, on your cell phone, on your computer, everywhere. So what are the tools that drive your business? I just talked about that. What are the technologies? This is one, I think Mary talked about this. Mary talked about this. She talked about cost. Sometimes cost is prohibitive. We'll see in the next slides. It's like small businesses in particular, they count their money. They literally count their dollars, okay? They are very sensitive because they don't have that. So for them, investing in expensive tools is a no-no. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. It's gonna, ruin my bottom line. Why should I invest in that? But things have changed. We're gonna see in a moment that things are a little bit more affordable now with a pay-as-you-go cloud. So what I talked about, the premises here, is really changing the way you look at the data. Look at the data now as an asset. It is not just something that we use. I have my spreadsheet, I have my papers, I have, this database. We use it. We just use it. Consider a mindset change as data is your asset. Actually, many of you know today there are companies that specialize in selling data. Multi-billion dollars. I did a project at a company called FactSet. Okay, they sell data. Their business is selling data. They sell, investment data. If you want data about this stock, etc., that is their business. Multi-billion-dollar company in the United States. Okay, I built a data analytics, a platform for that company about a year or two back. So that is consider that data is an asset, just like you have your cars, just like you have your warehouses. Data is an asset that you tap into. And it's not enough. You need to build that culture within your organization, that everybody knows what the data is. Everybody knows that with the data, I can make these decisions to augment the sales. If you have your marketing organization and sales, teach them that, okay, they look at the trending. It's not just the issue of the executive, but everybody can read, they can ingest that data and make trending and say, ha, we are making profit. Oh, there's a risk here. We are losing money. And the whole company is empowered. So let's come back. What is it that prevents people from joining in this bandwagon? Oh, it is real. It is real. Some people don't have access to technology and tools. If you take like 10 years back, to have a database was like prohibitive. Don't even talk about renting a SQL server. It was thousands of dollars. So a lot of people could not go, a lot of companies could not go in that direction. And still, they have a bad memory about that. The lack of data skills, your employees are not trained to use Excel. They're not trained to use Power BI. They're not trained to use Tableau. They're not trained to use databases. They don't know how to do it. So a lack of skills could be also a barrier. But I will assure you, the most, just like faith, the most is the company culture. Companies that are ahead now, they think that, yeah, this makes sense. We need to invest in this. We need to use our data to make decisions. We need to invest in tools. Let's go and be curious. Oh, Power BI is just $10 a month. Well, individual license, maybe we can afford it. $10, how much? I don't know what is it, in Kenyan shillings, maybe 200 Kenyan shillings. We can afford it. If it can help us to make 1,000 more Kenyan shillings, then we can invest in that direction, okay? So that's what it is. So becoming a data-driven is about the ability of the organization to instill that culture, starting from the top down, from the CEO, executive down. Create a culture of data. That's what we're talking about. So let me talk about modernizing business through digital transformation. So Mary talked about democratizing data. I assure you, many of you know, roll it back 10 years. Let's go 10 years. For somebody to build data analytics, even build custom, reporting with macros and complex things in Excel, you had to hire a data engineer. We called them a BI engineer back then. Not everybody could afford doing that. Today, with these BI tools like Tableau, Power BI, Click, you don't need a data engineer anymore to build those sort of things. You just need to know how to ingest that data from your data storage. Let it be a database, let it be your flat files on data store or storage, the cloud. Ingest that data in your BI tool and build that report that allows you to slice and dice and see your data in different dimensions. and derive insights. Now, these are the technologies that have emerged. And pay as you go. Most of these applications now run in the cloud. The cloud is elastic, both in compute, storage, but also allows you to pay a fraction of the cost. And I love this program. But when you present Ajira, it looks like you have a component that I like a lot, where you can have small businesses cluster to afford the cost. I guarantee you, this is great. When I worked for Microsoft, I was delivering training to OEM partners. So I went and saw this model in Mexico, because they were the small OEM partners, original equipment manufacturers. They could not afford the cost of the training that I was delivering. I was delivering a training worth about 12 grand for 2 days. So what they did, they ganged up. Microsoft allowed them to gang up, not to commit a crime, but to kind of come together. They pay 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, so they can all afford that session. This is what I heard Ajira is doing, like renting, for example, storage in the cloud on Azure or AWS. Maybe it's not too expensive. Storage is not expensive. Take like a compute, a database, for example, an Azure SQL database, or a 32 gigabyte in a very small database. It can cost you around $100 a month. So if these small businesses individually, they cannot afford $100 a month. If they can gang up, each one of them giving $10, $10, easily they can have what? They can have an Azure SQL database in the cloud where they have a repository of their data, and that feeds into their BI tools. This is the beauty of it. So democratization of data. Nowadays, anybody in your organization should be able to take that data, feed it into BI tool, and synthesize it quickly to give the insights that you want. The director, you can have that insight. The CEO, you can have that insight, etc. The beauty of it, and this is what I assured you, you know what I'm talking about. CEO, CFO, CIO, these are executives. They don't want to waste time. When they come, they want to see numbers. They want to see the trending. Is my business going? What is the bottom line? That is the story. And when you come, you prepare them with that dashboard, which allows them to see the KPIs on their business quickly. They love you. They love you to death because they can make that decision quicker during their ROB meetings, monthly meetings, or meeting with partners. This is the strength. So that's a transformation. I think I've come to an end. James, I enlist questions at this time. Please ask your questions. This is a conversation.
So yeah, Mai mentioned something about BI and what it is, and he mentioned that it's having that 360-degree view of your business. And I remember during the onset of this discourse, there was a poll that was sent out, and everybody was like, "What data do you collect? What data do you use?" And for some reason, 90% or almost 100% of the respondents mentioned that they collect purchasing data, sales data. All this is quantitative data. So when you look at BI, having a 360-degree view of your business, we are leaving out qualitative data. And qualitative data, where am I coming from? It's understanding from a customer point of view. And I've seen this, and you can concur this, even some of you business leaders know this, collecting customer sentiment. help us understand our customers better, and it helps us reevaluate and reimagine how we engage with our customer. So I just wanted to put it that way. Qualitative data is also part of BI, so don't think BI is just quantitative only, applying statistical modeling and mathematical computation to help drive business insight. And we are seeing this quite a lot, as the world is changing really fast, customers are changing their behavior, and they are becoming really picky, and they want more hyper-personalized solutions or hyper-personalized customer experience, right? So if I don't understand my customer and where they're coming from, like let's look at Amazon. Everybody, I'm sure they know what Amazon is. They actually leverage their review data way much than any other quantitative data, because listening to the customer, you first of all understand their pain points and what they need, and then you work backwards to help serve those customers. So on the other point, I wanted to mention about the digital transformation. Us as business leaders, if we start this culture of transforming our businesses incrementally, not only does this have, like I said earlier on, cascading effect in job creation. And it's really sad. I'm Kenyan, by the way, so we went to school, we get really good education, and I'm gonna give one example of a person I know. He went to the University of Nairobi. He did a BSc in statistics, master's in statistics, but then he found himself in the United States, and he was like, what do I do? So introducing digital awareness is really important, especially in our curriculum as well. Especially when you have students who are engaged in these STEM sort of science, technology, engineering, and so on and so forth. It's good also for our academic institutions to blend in modern technology to help also these learners gain the right competency so that they can compete with their peers internationally. And I've heard Ajira talk about creating more remote jobs. Think of this, you are competing with an international pool of candidates, and here, especially in the United States, actually nowadays in tech company, it's show what you can do for me. So if for me, for instance, I didn't go to school to get a BSc in business or in statistics, and I can showcase to my employer, well, I have very good data analytical skill set. I can use SQL to query my data, and I can use Power BI to help visualize that data and communicate that data. Why am I not going to hire you? So we have to make to also blend Ajira into the academic sector, and I know maybe Ajira does that. So talking more into blending in their curriculum modern tools and technology, so that whenever we have our young people come out of school, they are well equipped to compete with the rest of the world. I did a course just recently, and this concept of BI, it's incubating a new form of a new theory. And this theory, I would encourage most of you folks to go and read about it. The concept of infonomics. We know economics, but now we are in the economy of data, where, like Mai said, there are organizations, especially here in the US, that focuses on buying and selling that data, buying unstructured data, structuring it, putting it in a way that is consumable, and selling it. And as businesses can as well do that. They can sell their data and get money out of it. So monetizing your data. So a concept of infonomics, that's something that I would encourage all of you to go and read about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mai and Mary, for that insightful overview about business intelligence. We have a presentation, another short presentation by one platform called fasttagger, who are providing data solutions. So over to you, Mutembe.
So my name's Tembe Kariuki, as James introduced me, and I'm part of a company called fasttagger. What we do is mostly data analytics, building data analytics tools for different industries. And what we've built out is a platform called Auni AI. So Auni means assistance in Swahili, Sanifu. So it's a data infrastructure for sales for SMEs. We noticed that a lot of SMEs were, as has been previously mentioned, looking to see how they can use data to inform decisions and actually to push sales, which is the most important thing for every SME. And so we noticed that, you know, a lot of SMEs, especially during the COVID time, were being overwhelmed by customer engagement. They're receiving a lot of messages. The question is like, how do you automate when you're thinking of actually setting up, especially social commerce, which is what's become big these days. Most people in Kenya, you're selling either through your SMSs on WhatsApp or on or Instagram or any of the other social channels. This has become a lot of the way that people are engaging. It's not always people come to your shop, but either your website or other ways of selling. Everything has become digital, and this is actually really good because this gives you a way to collect a lot of data and engage with your people. So you're thinking about setting up your site. How do you actually engage with them, right? How will the people know whether you know, these days, for example, if you're on Instagram, if you don't reply to a message in 5 minutes, the person moves to another business to get their service, right? And then there's a lot of rich value that is created from the transaction data. When people pay you via M-Pesa and other ways of payment, there's a lot of rich data in that. And so what can you use it for to increase your sales? And so what fasttagger did, we came up with a platform which is personalized for customer engagement. It's able to analyze data, onboard users, answer queries, and upsell products, and eventually optimize logistics. And this was also really informed by, in the last years, e-commerce and social commerce has been growing so much on the African continent. It's reached about 85 billion, and that's in 2020. So it's a lot higher this year. And so when we looked at Kenya, we saw there are about 7.4 million micro and small business enterprises. The value of the e-commerce and social commerce space is about 1.5 billion. So it's a very big one. So all of you who are selling through WhatsApp and social commerce platforms are contributing to this. And we do find there's a lot of these social commerce entrepreneurs are actually women between the ages of 24 and 45. So if it's, you know, cosmetics you're selling online, clothes, whether it's agricultural products, whether it's other things that you're selling by social commerce, which is your website, your WhatsApp, your SMS, there's a lot of data being generated in that. So we have a team of people who are very focused on data, having all Kenyans with experience in different spaces, MIT, Georgia Tech, Klarna, and, you know, doing data analytics the world over. And so we came up with this product. So the way we differentiate ourselves is that we are able to analyze the customer profiles of people who are engaging with your business when you set up our platform. I also had it mentioned about sentiment analysis, understanding the messages that people are sending to you. Are they more likely to buy from you or not? And how can you increase the likelihood that they're willing to buy from you? And then understanding the payments and their data from their payments. So if you go online, you'll see our platform. It's you just need to type auni.ai, or even if you type fasttagger, it will lead you to the website. So this is how it works. So you would get a dashboard when you set up the platform, and within the dashboard, you would be able to check all the payment data that's coming in. It will be able to reflect the revenues that are coming into your company, how many of these customers are being retained, whether they've come through your website or your WhatsApp or other ways. You can all link them all and know how many of these customers are you retaining over a period of time. And then chats. So most of the engagement that people are having these days is either by phone or by chat, by WhatsApp. And so you can also be able to congregate all that information of the chats that you're having and be able to also point out which ones are more likely to buy from you. And so one of the setups that we did for the automating sales conversations, and this is an example of one organization. It was called Chap Go. So the way they did it is they used there's a very basic tool that you can use with WhatsApp for Business, where you can download the app and come up with some automated messages. Now, this particular business, all they did is that they put some automated messages. So immediately the organization or the customer engages with them. You send them your M-Pesa details, and then you also have some offers that you have that can be automated to be sent to them. What we are doing also is building out completely intelligent systems where not only the canned messages can be sent through, but you can also have direct conversation with the client and upsell them. So for example, in this particular instance, the person wanted some soap. They wanted to buy 2 packets of Ariel soap, and they were sent for the automated message saying, okay, that will be 790. These are the payment details. And then they would push and try to upsell the customer by sending them these special offers that they also have, and ask them, would you be interested in some of these other things that we have? And then the person will be, oh, I'm interested in some dishwashing soap. And then it calculates the additional price for you and then sends them the invoice, and you make that payment. Right now, this is something we're working on, but it will be able to automate and push for you the sales, because we know in today's world, if your customer engagement is slow in any way, 5 minutes, the person is on to looking for their product somewhere else. So you always have to have your messaging channels. Either you have someone who's doing it, but if your business is doing really well and you're getting a lot of messages, for example, your Instagram channel, you have, let's say 100,000, 200,000 people, and you're pushing something out from there, and then you're constantly getting messages. If you miss out on messages, or you spend too much time talking to one person who doesn't eventually convert, then you miss out on other people's sales that you could have gotten. And so this is a solution that we are building, which understands the sentiment that what the person is saying. So this is the solution flow of how we've set it up. We would take information from your ERP or point of sale systems, ingest that data, and then help you to do revenue analysis, customer analysis, understand, segment your customers and know, okay, so these particular customers are coming on a Friday. So on a Friday, I need to have certain offers out for more people to come and buy from me. Or on a Saturday, you get to understand this, and you can come up with customer loyalty schemes. So what we're building out is a customer loyalty platform where you can send people vouchers that they can be able to redeem over a period of time. And this can be done using your the M-Pesa messages that are coming into your system. You can also be able to understand these are the people who every Friday they're coming to buy this. And then you can be able to upsell them. You can say, okay, since you can prompt them that, oh, we noticed that this is what you're buying. We have a better product. Here's a discount the next time you come. Because you want the most important customer for any business is that customer who has already bought from you. Rather than always going to get a new customer, the idea is how can you keep this customer and get them to spend more, right? But all this you can only know from the data, from analyzing the data, knowing what basket of good this customer keeps on buying from you, how much are they spending? Can you be able to push them to spend a bit more if you offer them a bit of a discount? How can you retain this particular customer and make sure they don't go away, and even they would be able to bring someone else? So you can actually, within the system, this customer loyalty platform, you can be able to offer someone, hey, if you bring in a new customer, you can get another 20% discount from them. Another example of this is the basic automation, as I mentioned before. This is the very basic automation that you can do for your to get template messages on your WhatsApp. And then you can also connect your Facebook to your WhatsApp, and your Facebook page can push the same information. Anybody who interacts with you on Facebook, you can actually have the conversations now on WhatsApp. And the good thing about WhatsApp is that it's always on people's phones, right? So if it's you sending them like, you know, once a week or once a month a message to remember that, hey, you remind them. So it's not that you're spamming them with anything, because that's one of the big problems today, is that I'm sure you're all experiencing where you're getting SMSs of very random products, you know, that you particularly have no interest in. But with data, you can customize the experience for your particular customer. And previously, you know, we were talking about Amazon and the rest of the players, where they really analyze and they know you better, almost better than you know yourself. So your customer will actually be happy that you're sending them a message customized to them, even with their name, and saying, oh, welcome back. We noticed that every Friday you usually buy this. Well, here's actually a discount for you. You get 10% off. And that person will actually be more loyal to you, and you'll actually be able to make more money from that customer than if you had sent them, the continuous SMSs every week of dozens of products which they are not really interested in. So this is also part of the platform where you can actually get to see all the messages that are coming in from the different sources for that you're engaging with clients. And within this is where we're building some intelligence where it will be able to pick out who is further down the sales channel. So for example, it will be able to tell you, okay, this person is already willing to buy, so you don't really need to push them much more or offer them discounts. So just let them make the purchase. Then another person is slightly more hesitant to buy. So that person, you can send them a message with a coupon that they can redeem when they're ready to buy something. And so that will keep them interested in coming. And then you can automate that, oh, you'll be sending this message to this person every 2 weeks or every month until they can opt out of it, right? But the idea is like, how do you increase your sales using analytics and messaging? And then this is also an example of how you can use a Metabase, which is another analytics platform that we can help set up, where you can understand, this is an example of in the US, where you can understand which part of the city of Nairobi, for example, is someone, are you getting more activity from? And you can decide, oh, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to understand why there are more orders coming from this particular place. And this is an open source product. You don't really have to pay for it. And this is a business that we were working with previously. It's that Go, where using Metabase, you can take all this information and understand that on a month to month, they were doing e-commerce and they were working with different stores where they were delivering, they were getting orders for unga and sugar, Blue Band in bulk. So they were servicing dukas, like local dukas. And so they got to understand from the data how they were losing. So when they put monthly cohorts, it's like how many people are usually buying from them or ordering from them. And they could check literally every month, every month. At the beginning, everybody is ordering from them. And then they can also check, are we losing these people who have been ordering for us? And you can now actually be able to check, okay, if we are losing, why are we losing? And you can read more into that data. This was also what they were able to do for the months of April and May. The purchases, this was for a location in Mukuru where they were doing the pilot. And so month on month, they could understand why are we, how are we operating, the orders are we getting, why are we losing? So they could look deeper into this data, because if you're just doing it, expecting the sales to be coming in and it's not really showing you why you're losing it or that you're losing it, then you won't be able to correct what might be happening. So that using Metabase, you're actually able to also break down and see, okay, is it informal cafes? Is it bulk relief? So for example, they realized, this was during the COVID period, a lot of people were buying things. You remember when everybody was buying toilet paper and things. So a lot of people, just individuals buying things. So they could decide now to shift their business a bit from just focusing on dukas. So they eventually realized like dukas were only 10% of the people who were buying for them. Other businesses were buying only 5%. Informal cafes, they realized that during this COVID period, the people they should actually focus on are families, right, who need these bulk services, because they are actually not stepping out to go and buy anything from the dukas. They want things delivered to home. So they were able to shift their business a bit and really focus on delivering to homes bulk supplies week on week or month on month. So this is one of the, like, a clear example of a Kenyan business which used this to turn their business a bit and really gain more revenue in an area they had not thought about, because they had thought that their main person was going to be the dukas. But then they realized 57% of actually people who are ordering from them was actually homes. And so this is a bit of data also from this particular organization that used Meta Metabase. This is part of what our analysis that informed us to create this platform. So here is also information that they ended up getting. So this is a breakdown of the chart I had shown you previously. And so it ended up telling you that they noticed that they had strong retention earlier on, then slowly it started disappearing, but they had never even thought of this particular market of the informal cafes, in Mukuru and other places, and they realized, okay, these are actually people who they can be delivering to the sugar in the morning, the unga for making the chapatis and the samosas and the mandazis, and these are people who are doing work, daily, and they would need work from them daily. So they would have easily ignored them if they hadn't done the analysis with the data. So that is what they ended up coming up with. They ended up, through that data, being able to understand the average basket that the informal cafes were asking from them. They ended up understanding the retention rate and the amount of customers they had, and the monthly average return per unit of engaging with the informal cafes. So the opportunities that lie with working with us is that you can get to have customer analytics, advanced customer analytics, understand the frequency any particular customer is engaging with you so that you can increase the sales, what the units that they're buying from you, the basket size that they're buying from you, the location where they're actually from when they're buying from you, because you can get all this data as well from either the charts or from the M-Pesa data that they're sending you. And most importantly, I believe, is the micro engagement that we are able to help you do. So from the SMS, the messaging data that you're being sent, the payment data, you can be able to re-engage that particular customer and keep them loyal during this time. And with this data, you can continue increasing your sales. So this is the model that we've set up for, just simplifies how it looks. So you get the transaction data from engaging with the client. This is the conversation data as well as the payment data that comes in. You activate them by sending them an offer, a promotion that you have from them. And then you measure whether they actually, engage or open that message or send you or actually redeem that coupon that you've sent them in that voucher. And then you refine, understand that customer more so that they can actually have a very personalized experience with you, and they feel like, oh, this company, this organization, whether you're I saw in the charts, some of you are agriculture organization selling fertilizer. If that farmer really feels that you understand them, that in fact, if they're buying from you that fertilizer every 2 months or every other week, if instead of them having to be the one who's reaching out to you, towards the time when they would probably be reaching out to you, you send them that voucher and say, hey, thank you for being a loyal customer. We noticed your purchase last time. Here's a 10% discount. And we thought you might also want these other things. If you had fertilizer, you might want insecticide. You might want a hoe or gloves or something else that you can use at the farm. So that's the idea of like really trying to understand your customer more. And that's the platform that we are offering companies here in Kenya. So thank you very much. That is it from me, and I'm happy to answer questions.